Hey everybody, Jay here. Welcome back to the channel. Again, as promised in the last video, we are going to do some maintenance today. I'm just going to show you how to change your oil in your ride-on tractor. It's real simple, real basic, and then we're also going to talk about do-it-yourself maintenance or take it to a dealer. So we're going to discuss that at the end, but in the beginning part of this video, I'm going to show you how to quick basic oil change on a lawnmower. So yeah, should be pretty interesting, pretty basic video. We're going to talk at the end a little bit. So yeah, without further ado, let's roll the intro. There we go, baby. Come on. All right, everybody, if you like that intro, I invite you to hit the subscribe button, please, and hit that notification bell. I would really appreciate that. Anyways, like I said, if you like that intro, please subscribe. We do a lot here on the homestead. We do a lot of firewood. We heat with wood. We do some maintenance. I'm a mechanic by trade, so we do a little bit of everything around here. So anyways, we're going to cover basic maintenance on a riding lawnmower. So let's go ahead and pop you guys off the tripod and get right into it. All right, folks, this is our Poolman Pro, what is this, PP20VA46 ride-on lawnmower. It's got a beautiful Briggs & Stratton motor in it. We're going to go over basic oil change today and probably the air filter. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. So let's just point out a few key parts here. Air filter's under this cover. You got your oil filter here. You got your fuel filter here, which we're also going to change. Spark plug here. Go on the other side. Spark plug here. This is obviously a V-twin. This is your low oil sensor. This is your starter. This is your oil fill. This is your valve cover on for this cylinder. Real basic overview. So let's go ahead and find the drain bolt for the oil, and we'll go ahead and get started. Well, obviously it goes without saying, make sure you start and run your equipment, bring it up to temperature. This ran before I even started the video, so it's nice and hot. We're going to go ahead and slide the oil pan under it and drop the oil, but make sure you run your equipment, get it nice and hot. So first thing I do is I shimmed up this back side of the engine, because our oil is going to drain that way under our drain. So just a good tip of advice. So like I said, this is a Briggs 20 horsepower 656 cc motor. This is a pretty slick way to change your oil. What you have to do is you take off this cap here. Well, I wasn't expecting that, so let's go ahead and pull this cap off, and this should drain our oil. And as promised, we're making a mess. Hold on a second. Oh my goodness. All right, I thought we had it drained enough or angled enough, but we had to re-shim it. So let's go ahead and try this again. See if our oil stays in our drain pan. It seems to be doing better. All right, that was a little bit of a learning curve. Like I said in the beginning, I thought we had enough angle, but it was spilling on our deck here and got all over our driveway, but it's all right now. Seems to me that it has stopped draining. This is probably going to be the nicest part of the frame here, nice and oiled. So what we're going to do now is we're going to let that drain. We're going to move over to the oil filter. All right, now we're on the left side of the motor here. We are going to move on to the oil filter. Now these should be only hand tight, so we should be able to get that off by hand, which doesn't seem like it's gonna happen, so let's go get a wrench. All right, since we couldn't get that off by hand, I'm gonna go ahead and use our oil filter wrench, if we can get it in here. Oh, this is a terrible setup. Oh boy, that's on there. Wow. Are you guys seeing this? That's insane. what kind of... There we go. Would they use an impact driver? That sucker was on there. Another good tip too, when you take your oil filter off, make sure the O-ring comes off with it and it's not stuck on the housing. You don't want to have a double O-ring. Alright, so we're gonna let that drain. Alright folks, now that we got that taken care of, tip of advice, when you buy, or when you can do maintenance on your own stuff, buy genuine parts. This is an actual Briggs & Stratton legit filter. Look at that, it comes here with some plastic on it. Nice and clean, I dig it. Alright, so here we go. Buy genuine Briggs & Stratton parts. This is a Briggs & Stratton filter number 492932 S as in Sierra. This is for the 20 horse V-twin motor. But what I like to do is, I have some labels here. I like to pull a label off and put it on my oil filter. Oh, don't tell me that's not going to stick. So I like to put this label on my oil filter here, and then I'll write today's date. Today is the 4th, 5/4/21. That way I know in the future I can also use this video as a reference, but just a nice little trick here. And then obviously before you do this, you want to put some oil on this O-ring. Alright, so generally what I like to do is I like to, hope, yeah, you guys can still see. I like to just get the cap of the oil jug, put some oil on your finger there, and just, you can even actually just run this completely around here, and then just take your finger and you just want to lubricate that O-ring. You don't have to get fancy with it. Now, if this was a vertical mount filter, we would fill this with oil prior, but since this is a side mount, we can't really fill this, so we're just going to go ahead and put it on just like this. So we got some O-ring on that seal here. Now let's go ahead and thread it back on. All right, so now what I do is that's lightly seated, and then after that, from a lightly seated position, see if I could show you. Okay, so after my filter is lightly positioned, I'll put a mark here and a mark here, and I'll go just about one turn, maybe 3/4 of a turn, to hand tighten, and then I'll hit it real quick with the wrench. Again, you don't have to go super tight. Let me put you back on the tripod. All right, so again, you don't have to go super He-Man tight. That's probably good. So I could just about see our mark that we started with. So now what I'm going to do is, now that we got that tightened, I'm going to take my Sharpie and I'm going to put a mark here. That way when I check the hood, if I see those lines shift at all, I know that my oil filter is loosened up. So just a quick little visual aid that you can do. That way when I pop the hood to check the oil, I can peek at my oil filter and know that it hasn't moved. It shouldn't go anywhere, but I like extra insurance. All right, folks, we're gonna do a quick and dirty fuel filter change. First thing we're gonna do is pack this clip off, and then we're gonna, oops, sorry, hit the tripod here. We're gonna back this clip off here. We're gonna do this as quick as we can. Where's our flow on this? Our flow is this way. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this. I'm gonna actually get them both started first. All right, that's just about off. And we're gonna do this nice and fast. Sorry, I'm working around the camera here. I pop that off, put that on. Okay. The reason why I had to do that, I could have clamped this hose here, but at the end of the day, I just want to get it done. So let's put our clamps back on. Oops, sorry. We are good to roll. Put it back in our grommet here. Yeah, shouldn't go anywhere. Now, I could have clamped this hose here with a pair of channel locks. There's no fuel shut off on this. The reason why I don't like clamping this fuel hose is that a lot of times they crack and they'll leak. So sometimes just doing it real quick with the pliers is kind of the best way to do it. So damned if you do, damned if you don't. I'm sure I'll get crap for that. All right, so moving on to the air filter. We have our new air filter here. If you can, buy an air filter with a pre-cleaner on it. These don't restrict any flow, and it's just good. It's just a good thing to have. It's just a little extra, you know, mowing gets dusty and all that stuff. I could see like on a motorcycle, you know, there's not much sand and dirt, but on a lawnmower, I mean, these things just kick up like you wouldn't believe. So I like this Briggs motor. Everything is pretty much toolless. So again, here's our old air filter. Yikes. Okay, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna get a rag and clean this out before we put our new filter in. All right, so that looks pretty good. Now what we're gonna do is now that we have that all cleaned, we're gonna take our new filter with our pre-cleaner and just slide that right in like such. Again, genuine Genrac parts with a pre-cleaner here. Yeah, can't go wrong. Quick tip of advice too, make sure underneath your cover is clean too. If there's any dirt or loose particulates on here, your filter is just gonna suck it up. So make sure you clean the underneath of your cover. Again, real basic stuff, guys. It really isn't hard. We'll put this cover back on, tighten down our wing nuts, and now we can move on to adding our oil. Tighten down our wing nuts. Okay. Boom, done. Take our rag, give her some English. Wow, that looks good, huh? Sweet. All right, folks, so doing a quick Google search with the internet as our friend, these motors take 2 quarts of oil. Again, this is the 20 horsepower V-twin iTech. What is it? Intech twin. What we're gonna do is we had a funnel. Again, I don't know where it walked off to, but that is super interesting. I really don't know where that funnel went. So anyways, I like these long style funnels here. These seem to work good. So again, this motor calls for 2 quarts. We have it sitting level. We're gonna go ahead and pull your funnel out so it can vent a little bit. We're gonna start with 1 quart. Again, fill it up slowly because these filler necks are very skinny. All right, that should be 2 quarts. If we look at the side of our jug here, yeah, we got 2 quarts in it. That's what it calls for. We're obviously gonna check it and then run it. So yeah, let's go ahead and... One thing I like to do when I take my funnel out is put it back in my jug and let it drain. That it's a 30 weight oil, so it's going to take a little bit to drain out of that funnel. So just a quick tip of advice. All right, we've given it a second after we filled our oil. So again, let's wipe our dipstick off. See how we look. We are right at the full mark. All right, so before we start this, let's just take a quick peek. All of our caps and drains. There's no weepage there, there's no leakage. Let's go on the other side here. Check our oil filter. Oh, nothing new that we see here. Everything looks good. So now we can go ahead and start it. All right, so now before we start this, remember we took our oil filter off, and our oil filter is side mounted and it's completely empty. So tip of advice, before you start this motor, what you want to do is what I do. Disconnect your plug wires, okay? We're gonna just turn these around so they don't arc. Make sure they're not touching on the frame or anything. So that'll be okay. That'll be okay here. Let's do the other side. Again, disconnect our spark plug wire. Turn it around so it's not really touching anything. All right, so we're ready to start this now. The reason why I disconnected those spark plugs is because the reason you want to disconnect your spark plugs is because that oil filter is empty and the oil's got to go through the oil filter before it pumps to the rest of the engine, so you don't want to actually quote-unquote cook the top of your motor. So we got both spark plugs disconnected, we got the boots out of the way. What we're going to do now is we're just going to turn the motor over for 5, 6, 7 seconds just to fill that oil filter, and then we can start it. So let's go ahead and that's enough. That way, turning that motor over that much will fill that oil filter with oil. All right, now that we've spun our motor over and filled our oil filter, now's a good time to just double check. I don't see any oil, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our plug wires back in. Plug wires back in. Now we're gonna give this girl a crank. Should start right up. Oh, I have to be on it, I think. Yeah, hold on. All right, lift off. So I did notice, see right here, see these cracks? I did notice that this hose here has cracks in it. This is a diaphragm fuel pump, so it works off a vacuum. Completely stupid. I like a gravity system better, but hey, it is what it is. So if this completely cracks and sucks in air, it's not gonna pull this diaphragm here, and this motor's not gonna run. So we're gonna order, we're gonna get a new hose for that. Hopefully you can see those cracks. Yeah, because yeah, this motor runs now, but if that cracks enough, it doesn't pull this vacuum here. We are SOL. And if you don't know what that means, it is SHIT, out of luck. So let's wrap up. Okay. A job well done. So the question you've all been waiting for, do-it-yourself maintenance or, let me fix the camera here. So again, the question remains, do-it-yourself maintenance or take it to a dealer? Me, being a mechanic, I've always done my own maintenance. I like doing my own maintenance because I know it's done correct. I'm not bashing some dealers, but I've heard some horror stories for some people with dealerships with bad experiences. Please let me know actually in the comments below. You don't have to give any specific names. Don't put anybody on blast, but let me know your worst dealer experience. I would love to hear it. Would I bring my stuff to a dealer? If I could do it myself, no. I'm a mechanic. I've done all the maintenance myself all my years. I was taught from 12, 13 years old. I was, even younger than that, I was messing with motors. So I think you can do it yourself. We live in a modern day technical age. You can find every information online, oil weights, oil capacities, oil filter numbers, air filter numbers, spark plugs within seconds. You can find, like this video, for example, I covered everything on this particular model. If you have this particular model, you can change your oil and do the air filter and do your fuel filter and all that jazz. So anyways, people are going to say, well, you should support your local dealer and XYZ, but I don't know. I've always done it myself. I don't feel bad. Because again, I want to save money. First of all, to get this to a dealer too, you have to get it on your trailer, you got it on your truck, you got to get it there. That's time spent driving, that's gas, depending on how far you live. You can order everything you need and have it dropped off literally right at your doorstep. So I'm not knocking dealerships. I have a lot of friends that work in dealerships, but if you can do your maintenance yourself, I highly recommend it. It gets you more familiar with your machine. You'll be able to diagnose quicker when something goes wrong, and you just learn. Life is about learning, if you ask me. So anyways, that's my take on it. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I always do my own maintenance and I share it with you because maybe it'll help somebody. So hope you guys enjoyed some of those tips and tricks. Again, let me know your worst dealer experience you've had in the past below. And yeah, without further ado, that concludes today's video. So again, make sure you do your homework, do your research on your equipment. Make sure you check your oils before you run things, check your air filters, things like that. Little maintenance goes a long way. So again, I'm Jay. Appreciate you guys watching. Let me know what you think. Are you a do-it-yourself person or are you a dealer person? Again, doesn't matter. If you don't want the responsibility and you want to have a dealer take care of it and put the responsibility on their hands, that's fine. If you want to take responsibility yourself and do it yourself, that's fine too. To each their own. Enough blabbling. Hit that thumbs up either way. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And yeah, like I always say, we will see you out in the woods.